Are we actually live now? Fucking OBS. Can anyone hear me and see me alright? Can everyone hear me and see me okay? So I know it's alright. How is everybody? Happy New Year to you all. Can you hear me alright? I don't know if the sound's okay. Hey, loud and clear. How is everybody? I'm sure you've seen the title already. Who we got in? Right. Got Motor Lee, Neil, Peter, Jason, partners. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? You got over the new year okay, I presume. The light, yeah, there's nothing I can really do about the light, unfortunately. I'm not in the best lit room. I'm always dealing with fucking idiots, mate. Always. I'm good, just past 2,500 subs. Nice job, mate. Always dealing with fucking Muppets. Always, always, always. The joys of YouTube. The joys of YouTube. Yeah, I don't care. How did everyone get over it? Alright, let's see if we can start the new year off with a bang. Hopefully it's a lot better than last year. You know you've made it when you get trolls. Well, that is true. I've always said you haven't made it on YouTube until you get your first thumbs down and your first stupid comment. But people always tell me to stop answering them back, and I'm just not. I love answering them. And on my last video, there was quite a few. Quite a few. John, how we doing? It was funny though. It was funny. Do you have any plans to extend your shed? No, it's just a rented shed, so I'm not going to be doing anything to it. I'll be mainly just concentrating on my mobile stuff now, doing mobile, doing recovery, doing all sorts of stuff like that. That's what I'm going to be concentrating. I got loads of videos that I filmed doing the recovery stuff, but I can't release them yet because you can see the van, and I need to release the other parts of the video to show how I've got the van to that stage. So I just have to release them in a certain order. And even releasing them in a certain order can be a bit of a nightmare because people are saying, "Oh, you're talking too much. Just do the van." Whenever anyone buys a vehicle, especially on YouTube, they show you buying the vehicle, which I've done. Then they show you what's wrong with it, which I've done. Then they fix it, which I've done. I haven't showed you yet. And that's how it goes, because then you can see like a story arc of when I brought it, what is wrong with it, when I fixed it, and when I'm working with it. And that's what I'm doing. And then you still get people saying, well, you should hurry up thinking it, but they don't realise I've filmed all the fixing part of the van and everything, all that. It's just waiting to release the videos in stages. What comments have I missed? Love the new van, roadside. Looking forward to seeing your van. Yellow is a bit 2020. Well, again, mate, it's not yellow anymore. If you watch my previous videos, you would see that I am completely changing it. So, it's not yellow anymore. Far from it. Far from it. I'm mobile, and to be honest, I love it. I know you will too. Well, hopefully, I mean, like I said, I've done a lot of jobs already, and I can see the advantage of it in some ways. Obviously, disadvantage in other ways, but it's like everything. There's, you know, everything has its up and downs. Leon Shed reminds me of Hubnut Unit. Happy New Year! Oh, Happy Easter, sorry. I just presumed it was New Year. Hi, John. Evening, John. That's someone else. So, yeah. Definitely have to think on your fleet when you on someone's drive. Well, exactly. And once you see the van, what I've done to it so far, but by the time you see what I've done to it so far, it's going to be, I don't know how. I mean, I think the first video I released, I did over 4 or 5 months ago of the van. So obviously I've been working on it, not constantly, but I've done a lot of work in them 4 or 5 months. So by the time you see it to this stage, as it is now, it's going to be moved further on again, if that makes sense. Yeah, if that makes sense. So yeah, and when you see it, I don't know exactly when I'm going to release them. I don't know how I'm going to do it, because I've got some where I've been working on it as it is now, doing jobs, and then I've got jobs where it looks like it does now. So I'm going to have to kind of figure out how I'm going to release them in order to make it kind of work, because if I don't do it right, one time you're going to see it kind of finished to a degree, and then the next video you might see it back to its old way and you'll be like, what's going on? So I just have to work out how to release the videos to make it like fit, if that makes sense. Did you paint it or wrap it? You'll have to wait and see, mate. People already know, all my patrons already know, but you'll have to wait and see. I don't want to spoil it. Can't wait to see your mobile workshop. Looks like the van you've done. It's a shame they took out. Yeah, it is a shame they took out all the lights, but I'm going to be replacing them soon. I've replaced some of them, and I'm going to replace some more of them. Good evening. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, Mark? It's a Vauxhall. Yeah, it is a Vauxhall. So it is originally a UK van. Get some moderators to help you with the live stream. I've got loads of mods, and I don't need them to ban comments or anything, because I tell all my moderators not to ban comments. I like to answer people no matter what they say, so I don't really need any help there, mate. But there is plenty of moderators on my channel. That explains why it's got a Vauxhall badge. Exactly. You definitely need it full of drawers of the time. I do. I need to get. I still haven't got the inside of it done. The outside is, I'd say, 80% done now. So I've still got 20% left to do on the outside, but I've got like 100% left to do on the inside to what I want to do. So yeah, but we'll get there slowly but surely. We will get there. It's just going to take time, because I don't have. It's like everything. It'd be great just to have a big ball of money and to put it all into it, but I don't. And even if I did, I would struggle, because if it's off the road for too long, my work will be backing up and I'll be losing work. So I have to kind of do it in stages, when I can get money and when I can work, and just kind of do it that way. It's just, that's the only way I can really do it. Thanks for your video. You've missed your video to have missed your videos. Oh, hold on, chat's going too fast. I've missed your videos. They gave me balls to tackle some hard jobs on my transit. Your head gas, your leak back test video helped me to find an injector. Oh, sorted, mate. That's what they're all about, to help people. You look like Eddie Hall. I wish. Oh, hold on. I'm missing some of the chat again. Brendan, how are we doing? Was brilliant seeing your videos. Thanks a lot, Paul. I was watching your Freelander vids and had a couple. Watching Freelander a couple of weeks ago. Happy New Year, bud. Sure you get kettle fitted. I was actually thinking about getting stuff like that fitted, but I was even thinking of a few other bits, but I haven't really got a lot of room, so the room I have to manage it properly. Getting messages now. I'll have to look at that. I don't know if Malcolm's on here, is he? I'll have to look at that after the stream, mate. Where are we? Did you manage to find supplier for the towing dolly to get your wheels? Yes and no. I couldn't find them in Ireland. Well, I could find them in Ireland, but the problem was in Ireland they were twice the price, and they're not cheap. They really aren't cheap. Well, there's more than twice the price. It was like 2.5 times the price. So I went to the UK to get some wheels, and they just haven't been delivered. And that's over 4 months ago. It's a nightmare at the minute. And the new Brexit laws, the new import duties and stuff in January, which is now essentially, is going to be a nightmare. So I'm getting a lot of people saying and telling me, giving me links of, there's a place in the UK that sells this or sells that or sells that. But the problem is, some of them won't deliver to Ireland yet because they haven't got all the right paperwork sorted. Some of them won't deliver to Ireland because of the import duties and stuff. So it's a completely different kettle of fish now. And this is again coming to some of the comments, hence the word in the title. That there was one fucking idiot that turned around and said, "Oh, you just put this video up to get a free tool. It's so obvious." Well, it just wasn't the case at all, because the video I put up of the dolly, I've spoke to a few people in the UK and they will not deliver it to me because, one, they haven't got all the right paperwork to deliver it to me yet. 2, some of them won't deliver it to me, and 3, the person that could deliver it, the charges and the import duty was just ridiculous. It was more than the thing it was worth. So, there's no point in me paying double. So I was hoping to go direct to the manufacturer and see if they would send it to me. And obviously, at the same time, if I got a bit of a discount, I wasn't going to say no. Who would? But yeah, that was the thing, and that was some of the comments I was getting. But they certainly got squashed very quickly. Hello from across the pond. Any word on the dolly winter? Right, I've missed a few of the comments, so if I have, I apologise. I love watching your channel and knowing nothing about fixing cars. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot, Steve. Much appreciated. I've just got a Citroen relay back from Spain where it ran out of water and welded the piston block. Nice. Leon, I absolutely get you're not talking to a single chance on the 6 Series. Not worth the risk. Exactly. And the other thing is, as regards that, it's not worth the risk. And there's a video. Has my thing froze? Or was I? No, it hasn't. There's a video coming up very soon which I've done because everyone was saying to me on the previous videos, why don't I get a trailer? Now, if someone just turns around to me and says, why don't you get a trailer? Wouldn't that be better? I would answer them nicely and say, the reason why I don't get a trailer, I actually have a trailer. I have a very big trailer. I have a tilt bed trailer, but anyway, that's by the by. And the thing is, and you would have actually seen the tilt bed trailer in one of my videos bringing the cars to the new shed. So you'll actually see my tilt bed trailer taking my Cosworth. So I have a trailer. But the issue is, and this video is coming up very soon, is when you see the roads I have to deal with and the roads I go down mostly, my van is wider than the road, and the trailer is wider than my van. And if I have to, if another vehicle's coming up, someone might have to reverse like half a mile to get to pull in so the two cars can pass. And that's what people don't realise. When you're in a big huge city and you've got massive roads, yeah, you can tow a trailer all day long. And the other thing is, once the car is taken off, I'm still towing this massive trailer behind me. Where the dolly setup I've got at the minute, once I take the car off, I fold the dolly back in the van and I'm driving away and there's not a problem. Everything's good and I'm only driving a van back. But when you've got a big huge trailer, now anyone that lives in Ireland, rural Ireland, or any rural place really for that matter, that you'll understand that you can't just drive around with a van and a big huge trailer all the time. It's not practical, it doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't, it's harder, you have to concentrate more. And when I'm driving down these roads, I'm driving down these roads sometimes for 2 or 3 hours depending on where someone lives. And imagine driving down a road for 2 or 3 hours with a huge trailer on the back, and literally every time you meet a car you have to hopefully find a place to pull in, otherwise someone has to reverse. It's an absolute nightmare. So that's why I answered all these absolute fucking Muppets, because of that basically, because they just don't understand the situation. They're saying that they use a trailer all the time and my dolly system is illegal and it's dangerous and it's this and it's that. The trailer for them obviously works, but for my situation a trailer isn't practical. I'm not saying a trailer wouldn't work, I'm saying it's not practical. The dolly system for me is a hell of a lot more practical. So I have to answer these absolute fucking morons, which I love doing anyway, to be honest. It's just, once you understand the situation I am in the sense of the roads I go down most of the time, you will understand why I got what I got for me, basically. I know I've missed loads more comments, so. I'll come across the ferry and take back some of the, take it back there. Who cares if you got free tools or not? There is a good video on what can go wrong doing mobile from America. Well, I mean, everything can go wrong whether you're in a fully equipped shop or mobile. There's swings and roundabouts. There's ups and downs about it all. Like undercharging or overcharging. David, how we doing, mate? If you need to set up stuff from GB into, yeah, no, that is certainly a way around it. Going to the north, you know, getting it sent to the north and then bringing it back over here. There's ways around it, but at the minute we just have to see exactly what's going on, if that makes sense. Your videos are very informative, practical. I like the electronic fault finding. I decided to open up the the equipment required. It's like everything, it just depends how you want to go into it. Yes, you do need some expensive equipment, but you can get away with just some kind of good, cheap, second-hand equipment. You don't have to go expensive. What I will say is, though, you want to get a good multimeter, good. You know, when you're buying something electrical, don't buy the cheap, really shitty Chinese ones, because they're just gonna lead you astray. That's the thing. My trailer I got is narrower than my van. Yeah, but you see, when you're dealing with, if you get a trailer that the wheels are in, it's a lot higher. Mine's a tilt bed trailer. And the other thing is, if it's narrower than the van, then I can't fit, you know, the bigger vehicles on. So the trailer that I've got will essentially fit anything on. But I'm not going after buying another trailer and stuff, because again, you'll see in the video coming up, a trailer, even if it was narrower than the van, still isn't practical for me. It's not the fact that my trailer is wider than the van. That's not the, I mean, that's part of it, but it's not the full thing of it. The fact that I'm pulling a trailer around these really small roads. Anyone that lives in a rural place, especially Ireland, if you're in the chat, you'll know exactly what I mean. If you live in a big, huge city with massive roads, and you know, you're not going to have this situation that I'm going to have. But when you see the video, I'm most likely put it up tomorrow or the next day. When you see the video and the narrow roads I have to go down and the bumpy roads, even to the point of putting a vehicle backwards. The problem is with that, it's not that you can't do it, and I've got some very good help from all the AA guys telling me exactly how to do it, and they do it all the time, which is fine. I'm not disputing that, but when you're towing a car off a main motorway to a service station, you can reverse tow it, no problem. But when you're dealing with the roads I am, the roads are very bumpy, and the front bumper, I'll rip the front bumper off because the front of the car is always lower than the rear of the car, and when you reverse towing it, it's just lower. When you see these bumps and the roads and everything I'm in, the front bumper will just get ripped off. So it'll end up costing me a fortune to repair the cars, and I'll lose work because they're not going to be happy if I drop the car off and the front bumper and the radiator is missing. As you can imagine, I mean, people are kind of funny like that. They kind of like the car the way they broke down it. Some rumours that dollars are, I guess. God, that's why the RAC and AA use dollars. Exactly. So it's, everyone has their own situation, and depending on what situation you're in, you have different things to suit yourself in your specific situation. The reason why I went for the old AA/RAC van is because it's going to suit me for my situation. And especially when I'm driving back from a job, I'm just driving a normal van. I can pull into a town, a little village. I'm not trying to struggle parking anywhere. It's just, look, it's just more practical for me. Probably the reason here now I see it are not lugging around trailers. Exactly, because it just wouldn't be practical if they're lagging around trailers all the day. It just would. Now, if you're just got a phone call and you know you've got to take a car from A to B, that's fair enough. That's no problem at all. Tow a trailer with you. But like me and the AA guys, they're constantly driving. You can't just have a trailer around with you 24/7 because the amount of fuel and everything it would take is it's just not worth it. It's just ridiculous. But of course, the fucking Muppets on YouTube just don't realise. They think they know what they're talking about, and they're so used to people leaving a comment on YouTube and no one answering them back. When they get answered back, they don't like it, which is just hilarious. I've just had the same with a van garage in Spain. They know I drive a Arctic with a 40-foot trailer. Well, exactly. I mean, I don't know where you drive that, Mark, but if you drive that around here, you'll certainly know how difficult it is. It's difficult enough to drive it anyway, never mind around these roads. Thanks for all your videos about the Golf. Cam belt change was really helpful. No problem, mate. Java, how you doing? Bad van to pick up. Bad. Oh, here's one of the Muppets now. He's on. Bad van to pick up. Lots of problems. Oh my God. There he is. He's actually managed. Well, fair play to him. He's actually come into the chat. This was one of them that I was actually dealing with, and he was basically saying he listed out 3 or 4 problems with the van, which is fair enough. I'm not disputing them problems with the van, but you tell me one vehicle out there or one van that doesn't have problems. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all the messages, but basically I was asking him, what do you think the best van is then? What is the best van in your opinion? Why is my van so bad compared to your van? And basically he turned around and Mercedes Vito. So he thinks a Mercedes Vito is a better van than my van. And the problems that the Mercedes Vitos have is just endless. Endless. The problem any Mercedes have is just endless. They're one of the most unreliable cars on the road. Everybody knows it. So apparently, according to him, the Mercedes Vito is a lot better van than mine. Even though it has massive SAM module problems, gearbox problems, the automatic gearboxes are tailoring them, rust problems, the gear linkage couple problems, injector problems, injector season inside the engines. I could go on and on and on. Anyway, fucking Muppets. Oh, I've missed loads of comments. Where am I? The setup is... Oh, hold on. Here we go. Exactly. Mercedes Vito, electric nightmare. Exactly. Just fucking idiot. The setup is good. The AA have used their systems for years. Exactly. They've used it for years. You know, fair enough. The modern version of what I've got now is obviously a lot better. They've made it better now. I've got the older version from 2008, which is fair enough. But it's a great system. I've towed lots of cars with it, and it's brilliant. Easy to set up, quick to set up, compact. What more do you want? Mark, how you doing, mate? Hopefully he'll come back and defend what I said about the Mercedes veto, and he can tell me why I'm wrong. If I had to pick between the Vero and the Vito, I know which van I would pick. And people in the comments, if you just want to say which van you would pick out of them two, just put them in the comments. And the other thing is, it's not that I specifically wanted to go for that particular van. There's not a lot of vans that come up in Ireland like this. So in other words, in the UK there might be loads you can pick from, but there's not a lot that come up in Ireland for sale. I was looking at a Ford Transit, which I would have preferred to have got, but they have rust issues. They have other issues too, but this one came up and it was a really good price and I couldn't fault it. So it's not as if I had 100 vans to pick from. In 6 months, sorry, 8 months. About 6 to 8 months when I was looking, only 2 vans came up. Sorry, 3. One was the Vito, which I just wouldn't fucking buy if you just paid me for it. 2 was the Transit, but the time I had some money, the Transit had sold, and then the third one was the one I got. So I had to go for it. I couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop. Everyone's laughing at the Vito, not a Vito. Oh, I hope he's still here, but I bet he's not. I'm not saying the other thing is that the things he said about the my van is true, and I never said he wasn't true about the problems my van have. That wasn't the problem. The problem is everything else he said. And there is no vehicle out there that is you could just turn key and you're never ever going to have any issues with it. Everything has the issues. As regards fixing, what is cheaper, fixing a Mercedes or a Vauxhall? Well, a Vauxhall, and there's just no two ways about it. Mercedes is one of the most expensive vans and cars to fix on the road. So, you know, it just is what it is. Original Vitos were good but went downhill. You're taking the piss there. Well, better. You're taking the piss there. Oh, he's back. They're taking the piss. Well, better van you got then. And Shocks van, the Traffics and Renault Traffic. I mean, I can't even understand what you're saying, but okay. So, just because the Shocks hasn't actually gone in my van. If I could understand what you're saying, I would answer you back. No, the funny thing is, no one in the chat so far has agreed with you. Not one person. So there you go. Right, I've missed loads. Hi Leon, can I ask you a question? Hold on, let me just miss that one again. Can I ask you a question about a sudden no crank, no start issue? Yeah, you can. Now, I'm not saying I'll be able to help you, but I will certainly try. Why are nearly all vans diesels? I had old Transit petrol in the 80s. They were very... Well, again, it just comes down to fuel here, basically. The reason why they have diesels is because diesels are cheaper, the fuel is cheaper, even though the engines are more expensive. They're more expensive to repair and stuff, but it just came down to they're just more fuel efficient, because the fuel is very expensive in the likes of England and Ireland and, you know, most parts of mainland Europe. It just come down to the diesel was cheaper to run a van. If you had a big huge van and you put a lot of stuff in it, and you were, you know, using that every day, to put petrol in that van is very expensive. Now in America, I know it's different. In America, they have, you know, they don't really have diesel. Well, they do, but I've seen petrol transits in America, even new ones. We just don't get them over here just because it's not fuel efficient, and that's essentially it. The petrol engines in some ways are a million times better. You don't have dual mass flywheels. You don't have, you know, DPF filters, EGR valves that block up, and all that sort of stuff. You don't particularly get that where you do with diesels, but it's just, look, it is what it is. Have I missed a comment? I saw a comment about where is it? I saw a comment about someone had a veto with the thingy, with a Vauxhall engine, but I can't find the comment. Damn, where is that comment gone? I'm sure he will put it back in the chat. I worked on Mercedes, they are full of problems from the... But I mean, to be honest, every car is full of problems. I'm not here to say that, you know, every car has its problems. At the end of the day, every car has its problems. It's just, if I had to, as regards an older vehicle, mine's 2008, if I had to pick a 2008 vehicle between the two, I'd pick the Vauxhall all day long, because it'd be cheaper to buy and a hell of a lot cheaper to repair. And then vans over here are very popular, so if I need to get any second-hand parts, I can. The Mercedes aren't so much as popular over here, and the Mercedes are a slightly smaller van. So, you know, in my situation, you know, just not. You buy a brand spanking new one, maybe not so much going to have problems for a few years, and you can buy a new one every few years. You're never going to have an issue with it. But, you know, I don't have that sort of money, so I can't do it. Hi Leon, can I ask you a question about, I think I already answered that, just ask away, mate. What strict are the NCT with rusty brake discs? Well, this is when the brake discs are rusty, they don't, if you just got that little line in the middle where it's shiny and the rest is rust, it means the brake's not working properly. They're only braking on that, you know, 10% of the disc rather than 100%, so it's just a safety issue. My brother has a Vito. I've replaced it in and out of sills, but mechanically perfect. Okay, but still, I still stick to what I said. I'd still prefer what I've got than the Mercedes. Happy New Year to you too, mate. Hi there. It's a saying, the most expensive car in the world is the cheapest. Mercedes German cars are shit. I wouldn't stick a Toyota. I mean, look, the problem with the Mercedes and the BMWs, especially the big, you know, the big V12s and the V8s, when they start going wrong, they start costing a fortune. And the people with the money, they can just keep buying a new one, so they don't really care. But everyone knows. I mean, I don't have to. I've missed loads of comments, so if I've missed your comment, just say it to me again, because the chat's going quite fast. If I've even forgot what I was going to say. I've just completely lost my train of thought. But anyway, look, I mean, yeah, I've just completely lost what I was going to say. Something about Mercedes and BMWs. Don't know. It's just kind of blank. Oh, I'm missing chats. The van that has the recovery stuff in, it doesn't matter where, as long as it's as long as it works. I'm not, look, every van has an issue. Every car has problems. I'm not saying mine's the most reliable thing on the road. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying what he said originally about the parts that weren't wrong with them aren't an issue. I'm not disputing that. But between the two, I know which is the more reliable, if that makes sense. Yes, pal. I think this was the original comment. 2016 Vero CDI is a bloody Renault engine, and dashboard is little like a Christmas tree. And talking to Mercedes dealer. Oh, don't you just love talking to dealers? You don't have to keep writing in capitals, mate, because it's quite hard to read in capitals when all the other comments aren't. Your eyes just don't thingy to the comments, so you don't need to write in capitals. Leon, the car is 2007 Vauxhall Vectra. Oh, Vauxhall with problems. No. I'm obviously being sarcastic now, aren't I? Mine is the 2-litre engine, which is the better engine than 1.9. I'm just saying. 1.9, 120 horsepower. Engine. The car was very slow turning over, and when tried to start it, is it just it wouldn't crank? Is it just clicking? Because if it was very hard to turn over and it was getting kind of slower, and if it's just clicking, I'd mostly say your starter motor's gone. Is your van a Vauxhall or a Vauxhall badge Renault? It's a Vauxhall, mate. The Vauxhalls are popular and the parts are cheap. Exactly. Exactly. That's just exactly. You know, and if it's popular and cheap to repair, what's the problem? What is the problem? Looking for a van, is it worth getting an older Hiace? Well, it depends. Again, depends where you are. You know, the problem with the Hiace is more so is they're not particularly a big van. But I'm like my Renault isn't a big van, but they're not like they're quite small. So as regards for like a builder's van and stuff, you know, you can't fit like 8x4 sheets in it. I don't think you can, not flat anyway. So that's one thing to bear in mind. The other issue is they're older now, so you know parts and stuff to get. That's the only issue. That's kind of the issue with them. It's just and especially in Ireland, the older vehicles, they're just people are struggling to insure them. So it's more the fact that it's going to be hard in Ireland, a lot more expensive to insure that. So that's why people go for slightly newer vans. I mean, if I could afford a newer van, I would have gone for a lot newer van. I would have built something myself, but I just don't have the money to do it. Otherwise, I would go for something. I'd go for a hell of a lot bigger van and build it exactly how I wanted it from the beginning. But I don't have an unlimited bank account or an open checkbook, unfortunately. If I did, I would do it a different way completely. I'd still have the same dolly setup, but I'd obviously have the newer version, the lighter, more expensive, more better. If that's a thing, I don't know. Maybe it's not a thing. And then I would just have the van decked out a bit more, and I'd have it bigger. That's the only thing I would do, but I don't have the funds to do that. Is your battery or alternator not charging? No start, no crank. Tried battery. If again, no start, no crank. If it's just clicking, it's most probably your starter motor or the wires going to your starter motor. That's what it most probably is. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go back because I'm missing loads. Oh, I've missed loads of comments. Shit. Right, I'm just have to kind of quick go through some of these comments. What I'm gonna do is. Yeah, I've missed loads of comments, so let me just. If you can't afford new and have the warranty, if not buy whatever suits you for your needs. Well, again, it's whatever you can afford, and that's another thing. It's whatever comes up, and it's not as if now if I had, like I said, you know, if there was hundreds of vans for sale like this in Ireland, then I could have picked which one I want. But essentially, there isn't. There was only 3 that I've seen within 6 or 8 months, and one of them I wouldn't have gone for. The other one sold as I basically had the money to buy it, and then this other one came up. So yeah, that's the reason for it. No question. Good luck for 2000. Thanks a lot, Paul. Why do you not read any of my comments? Because I don't see your comments, so I've just kind of explained that for the last 10 minutes. Where's your comment? I'll scroll up. I can't see any comments. I've just scrolled up and I still can't see any comments. Nope, you've left no comment that I can see. Mike, how you doing? Happy New Year to you too. Mine's the 2 litre, Dave. Problem is there is too many dickheads. Exactly. I'm going to have to go all the way back down to the bottom. I've missed loads of people's comments. If I've missed a comment, just give it back to me again and I'll see if I can find it. But like, you know, the comments go through quite quickly. When I answer a comment, I'm going to miss some. And then that other guy who said, why am I answering his comments? I didn't see your comment. I mean, otherwise I will answer it. I'm not just not answering you. I don't know who you are, so why would I just not answer you? It doesn't make any sense. Let's go to back. Right, here we go. The BMW starter is a pain to get out. Which BMW starter? Part S, it could be the alternate because there should be still enough juice to get to the battery. I'm missing comments now and I don't know. Just because a battery is only 3 years doesn't mean it's okay. Well, that's very true. A battery even 6 months old doesn't mean it's good. A battery that's 2 weeks old doesn't mean it's good. A battery that's brand new doesn't mean it's good. I've missed a lot of comments, so I don't know. If it clicks, it's usually the starter, yeah, or the wiring going to the starter. How about you? Again, I don't know what that's about. Sounds like starter solenoid. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Well, one of the easiest ways to know if it's the starter, mate, is just to push it. Turn the ignition on, get the power coming on the dash, put it in first or second gear, get a few people to push it, bump start it. Boom. If it bump starts and the engine sounds okay, it's your starter. Sorted. Why didn't I think of that at the first? Just bump start it. Or tow it, bump start it, same thing. So, sounds like starter. I'll try the battery, Elite 3 months. You might have drained the battery, yeah. The battery is 3 months old, not 3. Even 3 months old doesn't mean it's a good battery. Even a brand new battery doesn't mean it's a good battery. Never go on the age of anything. Just because something is brand new doesn't mean it's good. Just because something is old doesn't mean it's bad. So, you know. It wouldn't bump start. Well, okay, well then you've definitely got another issue then. You're going to have to plug a scan tool in and get some codes. There's no point trying to diagnose a crank no start with no codes. It's going to be impossible. If you checked all your main fuses and none of your fuses are dead, you're going to have to plug it in and get some sort of, because it could be 1,000,001 things. How about you? Again, don't know what that is. Could be a drain from the battery, could be, but doubt it because it wouldn't have just stopped like that. Am I confusing this other comment with the other comment? Maybe, I don't know. Scrap it. It wouldn't bump. It bump started but didn't start. What? So it didn't bump start then? I watched a few of your. Oh, see, I keep missing all these comments. I've watched a few hours of your videos before I realised you live in Ireland, mate. Okay. Again, I've missed loads. I've missed loads. Oh, the car did bump start, but didn't jump. Oh, okay. Sorry, I read that wrong. So if it bump started, well then it's your starter motor. Simple as that. It's your starter motor or it's the wire going to your starter motor. Don't just replace your starter motor. You need to see if the wire going from your battery to your starter motor or even from the solenoid to your ignition barrel is okay, because it could be one of them wires. Not necessarily your starter motor, it could be a wiring issue. But it's going to be around your starter motor area, let's put it that way. That's kind of sell it and buy a Vauxhall van. I'm not sure what that is about. Definitely starter. It's the bloody starter. You've getting all tangled up, Leon. Okay. I'm reading comments and I think there's two people with non-starting issues and I'm reading them thinking it's the same person. I don't know that. I think that's what I'm doing. And also, there is a delay. So when I say something to the chat to when it comes out, there's maybe a 30-second to a 40-second delay. So if I say to somebody, right, okay, right, we'll do a quick test, right? I'm gonna say, my phone's a bit fucked, but you're gonna get the idea. Let's just see what delay is on it. Where's my stopwatch? Because the problem is when I say something to someone, I have to wait for the comments to come through. Where is no? Where's my bloody stopwatch? Where's the stopwatch on that fucking phone? Because I was gonna why can't I find the stopwatch on the phone? Here we go, it's in clock, isn't it? Stopwatch. Right, reset. So I'm going to say, just put the word number 1 in the chat in a second. So don't do it now, because I'm going to change the number so people don't do it now and kind of fuck this up. I'm going to tell you a number to put into the chat, and I'm going to start this, and we're going to see how long it takes for that number to come in. So put the number 5 in the chat, and then what we're going to do is we're going to see how long it takes for that number to come up. Maybe I'm slightly wrong in the thing. So what I'm trying to get at is, when I say something, it takes this long for it to come through, and I might have missed a comment or not got it, if that makes sense. Tell the haters to go forth and multiply. Oh, I do, mate, don't worry. I do. I absolutely. Oh, I've seen the first number. Right, 32 seconds. 32 seconds. So it took 30. So that's how much of a delay. So when I say something, I might not be looking at the chat, and then what happens is I look at the chat later, and what I've just said, it takes 30 odd seconds to come up. So someone already might have answered, or this is how I can get confused very easy, if that makes sense. 72, 4, 9. So yeah, 30, is it 32 or 34 seconds? Anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. Looks like we've gone into level 5 lockdown again, which is great. More crap. Do I have to talk down the sump nut of my Yaris? I mean, technically there will be there will be a talk setting for that, mate. But I've never talked. I've never talked any of them down. The only things I really talk down is anything to do with the engine, like the internals of the engine and stuff like that, head gaskets and stuff like that. Everything else, you just don't need to. Any tips? Bleeding my filter on my C-Max 1.0. The 1.8 are a nightmare. Fill up the there's a few ways of doing it, but fill up the diesel filter and just crack some of the injectors, and you will get it. They're just a nightmare. I've seen other people using Easy Start and stuff on them, which you can do, but Easy Start after a long period of time can start doing a lot of damage. So yeah, just fill up the diesel filter. If you've got a Schrader hose, some of them do. You can just, I've done a video on it, how to do it with the Schrader hose by putting I managed to figure out one day and it was brilliant. I got a lorry tyre valve extender, and I took the Schrader valve out the middle of it and I used that on my suction pump, and it just sucks up, and as I screw it off, the Schrader valve that's inside the cart automatically seals itself afterwards, and it works perfectly. So you can do that as well. There's a few ways of doing it. You can also get one of the big syringes that I've showed before, put it on the diesel filter, suck out all the diesel, and then once the syringe starts filling with diesel, you know that the diesel filter is filling with diesel, and you can then shove the diesel into the engine. There's a few ways of doing it, but they can be a nightmare to actually do. Disgruntled mechanic 555555555. Great to see you even moving after. Yeah, we kick up the arse. But look, it is what it is. Leon, when I was removing start mode, I forgot to disconnect the battery. I got a lot of sparks with the ratchet touching the ground wire. Hold on, chat's going too fast. Could this have done any damage? Yes, it could have blown the main fuse in your fuse box, and depending on your car, it could be an 80 amp fuse or 100 amp fuse, but it's not just going to be a standard fuse. It's going to be kind of a special fuse, because obviously they're a lot bigger, so it's not going to be like a spade fuse. But I mean, you can get 100 amp spade fuses, but it's going to be more of a square type fuse. But again, and you'll see a little plastic on the top of it. You'll see a little plastic cover where you can look down to see if the thing is broken, and you'll clearly see if it's broken. But yeah, and again, I'm sorry if I'm missing people's comments. I can't keep up with the chat. Pointless cracking an injector on a common rail. Well, not really, because if you just crack one of them on the common rail, you will still get the air out, so I wouldn't say it's pointless. I've got one for you. Freelander 1 TD4 runs perfectly, pulls great, no smoke on start up, warm up, drives nothing. Hold on. Where are we? Where is this comment? Drives nothing at all, car banging on, but if I sitting still and hold the car at 2000 rev, blue smoke. Well, don't sit still and don't hold the car at 2000 revs. Simple. Well, if it's blue smoke, it can only really be a couple of things. It could be burning oil, or it could be an injector issue. Just because it's starting and it drives perfect doesn't mean you haven't got an injector issue. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to you too, mates. I nearly lost my rag with a 1.6 engine trying to get bled and start using the Ford Sealy tool as well. Yes, some of them are a nightmare. If you've got a lift pump in the tank or lift pump in the engine, you can just prime it with the scan tool. But when you don't have that, it can be a nightmare. It can be an absolute nightmare. But on a common rail system, yeah, if you do crack one of the injectors or even the common rail, because if there's too much air in there, the fuel can't get in. You just only have to crack one of them. But they're just a nightmare in general. They're just a nightmare. My auxiliary belt is chirping. Remove the alternator and alternator pulley was seized. Replace full alternator and still getting the chirps around us. The belt is noisy. Any ideas? Well, again, what you have to do is once you take off any drive belt, auxiliary belt, fan belt, whatever you want to call it, you need to check all the pulleys because you're going to have more than one pulley. So you're going to have obviously your alternator pulley, you're going to have idlers, you're going to have tensioners, and one of the idlers could be a bit dodgy. I did a video not that long ago showing how to actually, and the video was called something like how to diagnose, something to do with a can of Red Bull. I can't remember what I called it. How to fix a fan belt with a can of Red Bull or something. But anyway, all you need to do is get some water and pour it on each pulley separately. As soon as the noise stops, you know that pulley or that whatever you happen to put it on, that's your issue. So just very, very carefully get some water and just very lightly pour it on each pulley at one time. Once the noise goes, that's the pulley that's got an issue. So yeah, it is what it is. You can't bleed any common rail by cracking open the injectors. Yes, you can. And I've done a video on it. You can. But you still need to fill the diesel filter up. But you can. So, yeah. Oh, I'm missing all these comments. So I do apologise if I miss anyone's comments, but they're just going to first. Where was I? I don't even know where I was. Evening, mate. Savage Garage, how you doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Should I change the injectors first? On what's this? Is this on the Freeland? No, don't just change the injectors. You need to test them because injectors aren't cheap on them. So you need to check them. The only real way to check injectors properly is to get them off and put them on a proper bench to test them. But there is things you can do to test them. If you've got live data, you can actually see what the pressures they're running at. If you've got a leak back test, you can do a leak back test on them. It will give you an idea, but it won't. There's only one way to test injectors properly. Take them off to someone who has the big proper machines to do flow rate tests. It's the only way to test them properly. But they're very expensive, so don't just replace them unless you know that there's an issue. It could even be, well, I mean, it could be a few things, but blue smoke is normally, kind of indicative to them injectors possibly burning fuel as well, burning oil. So it might not be anything at all. Awesome, thanks. I'll try the water trick. Yeah, Terry, I did a video on it. And it's just, you just get a little bit of, you don't want to get a lot of water, because if you put a lot of water it'll go on 2 or 3 pulleys at once and you won't know where it's coming from. So just a little bit of water, pour it on the pulley. Now it does kind of splash back in your face, but it's only water. And but the trick is not to use too much water, because the more water you use, it's going to just go everywhere, and it's going to maybe go on 3 or 4 pulleys, and you're not going to know where it's going to. So don't use a lot of water. There is always more than one way to skin a cat. That is very true. Very, very true. Could the clutch pulley on the alternator be causing the belt to chirp? It's a possibility, but I think he said he already replaced that, didn't he? Didn't he replace the alternator and the pulley? As soon as you open it, you'll drop pressure. Yes, you will drop pressure, but you'll also take all the air that's out to allow the fuel to come in. I've done a video on it, and it works. Just because it drops pressure doesn't mean the fuel's not coming in. It just gets the air out to allow the fuel to get there. You can keep arguing me all you want, mate. Not a problem. I'll keep giving the answers to your questions. Not a problem. Thomas, Happy New Year. Did you Look at the Wish website for the lights. I didn't know, but I wouldn't really go to the Wish website for them sort of lights because it's not. Yeah, I just wouldn't do it because a lot of them are just crap. I'd sooner go to a company that I know if there's anything wrong, I can kind of take them back straight away. I use the water trick to diagnose a noisy pulley on my BMW E36. It works. Now people do use oils and stuff, but the problem is when you use oil. The reason why I even said it in the video, the reason why I didn't use oil. You can use WD-40, you can use anything really. But the problem is when you use WD-40, because it's kind of a liquidy, oily stuff, it tends to hit the belt and it'll go into the other pulleys without you knowing, and it will stay there for a few minutes before it burns off. Where the water, when I showed you it in the video, the water burns off quite quickly, well, very quickly in fact, and the noise comes back kind of instantly again. So, and if it does spread to other pulleys, you just literally wait 30 seconds and the noise will come back. You put oil in there, you might have to wait 3 or 4 minutes for it to go off. It's not the big deal, but also if you use oil like WD-40 or any type of oil, if it gets into the belt, it will cause the belt to slip, which that could take half an hour before that burns off. So using water, even if it gets in, which it will get on the belt and in the belt, but it just burns off quickly, like basically after 10 seconds or so. So that's why I use water. I've seen people use oil and it does work, but it's just a lot more messy. Water is just easy. Water is just easy. Some people won't be told / advise. I don't know what that's referring to. I'm not arguing with you, mate, just opinion. I'm not saying you're arguing, I'm just saying whatever you're saying, I will give you reasons why it still works. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, James, I didn't see you. Again, don't know what that means. I'm missing so much in the chat. All I'm trying to get at is, when you've got an airlock, what he's saying is right. You will drop pressure in a common rail system. 100% you will drop pressure. Sorry, there's something on the telly. You will drop pressure. But when there's a big lump of air there stopping the fuel getting in, you crack that. Now I don't mean like the old-fashioned injectors. You could literally, you could crack them off all the way and the car will still start. On a common rail, you can crack them a little bit, getting diesel to squirt out, and that car will still stay running. 100% that car will still stay running. I'm not saying the pressure won't drop, but what I'm saying is that car will still run. If you would loosen one of the injectors on a common rail system, just loosen. I don't mean completely crack it off, I mean just loosen. The car will still run. So when you just loosen that off a little bit, whatever air is trapped in there, it will allow it to come out and allow fuel to come in. It gives you a chance to start the car. That's what I'm trying to get at. I've done a video showing all that. I've done a video showing the car will run with the injectors open, and I've done a video on doing that. I'm just saying, I've done a video on it. It does work. But if you was to crack all 4 of them at once and completely take them off, well then no, it's not going to work. But I never said that. This is why you use water. Water ideal, not. The water idea is very good. Not. The water idea is very good, not. Why is it not good? Again, I've showed a video proving it works. Have I taken glow plugs out of a P38 Range Rover? No, I have not. Some of the glow plugs in some of them are a nightmare, in any car. The Vauxhalls, the glow plugs are a nightmare. Even my van. Well, I don't know so much the vans, the cars more so. Like the 1.7 Vauxhall engines have a massive problem. The Mercedes engines, the 2-litre diesel Mercedes engines have a problem. Which other ones have I had issues with? It's mainly Mercedes and Vauxhalls I've had issues with glow plugs. I mean, I've had issues with a lot of them, but they're the 2 kind of main ones. It's normally on the 1.7s, that I've had issues with, on the Vauxhall side of things. I keep losing. Am I down on the chat? I think I am. Ooh. Air in fuel system compressor. Air in fuel system. I don't know what that's about. How long have I been on for now? Does it tell me? Oh, it does, over an hour. Well, I won't be too much longer because I've got other things to do. Got a few jobs on for tomorrow. So when I fit a new starter motor, if the car doesn't start, do I presume the problem wasn't with the starter motor? Well, for a start, don't just replace the starter motor without testing it. You need to test the starter motor first. So the way you test the starter motor is you need to do voltage drop test on the leads. So in other words, you need to make sure that there's 12 volts getting down to the starter motor. When you turn it, does that 12 volts disappear? The starter motor has to be getting a constant 12 volts. If you get an amp clamp, put an amp clamp around it to make sure it's getting a load of amps. If it's not, then you've got a wiring issue. You don't just replace something on what I say or what someone else says on the comments. We're only giving you an idea of what it might be. The sounds of it is it sounds like a starter motor. But without testing it properly, don't just replace the starter motor. Have to test it. Once you've tested all the wires going to it, and all the wires are good, and the car doesn't start, well then it's the starter motor. If it bump starts, you can be pretty much certain it's a starter motor, but don't just rip out a starter motor without testing the wires, because you could spend a couple £100 on a starter motor, and it's your power wire going from your battery to your starter motor, or it's the kicker wire going from the starter motor to your ignition. You know, you have to check these things first. I changed glow plugs on my Vectra, they are a pain. Yeah, some of the transits are a pain as well. The rear wheel drive transits, they're a pain. Because you have to take off the intake manifold, but it's because it's the engine's front to back, it's on the side, it's just awkward. Most modern vehicles, to be honest, to change them are awkward. Some of the Vectras, they're very expensive. Not the Vectras, sorry, the Insignias. If you've got the heater plugs that have the pressure sensors in them, they are, in Ireland, they're €250 each. They're €1,000 for 4 heater plugs. There's €1,000 for 4 heater plugs, which is just ridiculous. I would always say to everyone, if one of your heater plugs is gone, replace all 4. But when they're €1,000 for 4, I don't say replace them all. Just replace the one that's gone, because yeah. That's Stephen Mark. I don't know what's happened there, Stephen. Ask what people think about non-live Q&A with an Irish mate, if would be great. Ask people what about a non-live question Q&A with me, is it basically? Do people really want to see that? A Q&A with me? Isn't this a type of a Q&A session? No? You can ask me questions and I'll answer them. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, you can ask me any question here. It doesn't have to be car related. If that's what you mean, mate, I don't know. You can if you ask me a question here and I see it, I'll answer it. Not a problem. Savage Garage does it. Well, that's obviously something to do with him. Who won't? I hate it when the glow plugs are at the back. Yeah. Oh, some of the 1.6 Focuses or the 1.6 diesels. Oh, they're at the back. They're a fucking nightmare. I mean, glow plugs. You want to see them. You want to be able to get to them quite easy. You don't when they're at the back of the engine. What a nightmare. I have taken starter motor off already. I've ordered a new one. I tried to do the voltage test but was too confused. Not good with multimeters. Well, I just hope for your sake then it's the starter motor, because if it isn't, you're gonna have wiring issues. And if you've sparked out the main wire and earthed it out, there's a good chance there's not a good chance you've blown the fuse. It's kind of a guarantee you've blown the main fuse, so it won't start after anyway without you replacing that main fuse. Connections looked okay. Just because they look okay, that's not the problem. If you've got a long piece of wire and internally in that wire the resistance is too high because it's got a lot of build up and stuff, the voltage and the amps can't get down it. The wire could look perfect. It's not about if it looks good, it's about what's internal inside it. Capillary reaction, where the water goes uphill essentially and seeps into it. The outside of the shroud could look absolutely perfect. You cut it open, you can just see it's just completely full of green crusties. Again, it's going to first. I'm missing loads. Peugeot HDMI nightmare for glow plugs. Yeah. The earth strap is a wire that goes between the engine bay and the body. Yeah, but again, don't know what that was referring to. Vectra glow plugs are at the rear of the engine. Oh, just a nightmare. Just a nightmare. Have I missed a question? Someone's asking about an earth strap, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying what an earth strap is, and I didn't see the question. Same as earth lead came with the car. Non-live with Irish mate, just having the crack. I don't know what you mean. It's easier. I think it's easier to have the crack if it's live, because people can ask a question and then I can answer it. Because I see a lot on YouTube comments that someone will say something and I might take it the wrong way. So in other words, they mean something slightly different to how I perceive the message. So in other words, if I answer it and they're like, no, I didn't mean it that way, in the live chat they can say, no, look, I didn't mean it that way, this is the way I meant it. So then I can answer them how they meant it, if that makes sense. I just think it's easier. I just think it's easier to do a Q&A live than it is kind of not do it live, if that makes sense, because people can ask more questions, and if I answer a question it might bring up another question, if that makes sense. So it could raise another questions for them, and then I could answer that question as well. Do you see what I'm saying? Or if they ask me a question, well, like, my car doesn't start, what's wrong? Well, is it clicking? Well, then it's mostly your start motor, for example. I won't know where to, do you see what I'm saying? I just think it's maybe a little bit easier. What do you think? I mean, if people want me to do a Q&A, I will, but I think we can do a Q&A here, if that makes sense. Do you know, if you want to ask me a question, I'll answer it, no matter what it is. I get a lot of people asking me, and I don't understand this. A lot of people asking me, and I know they ask an awful lot more YouTubers as well, and that's not just me. They always ask, for some reason, they're obsessed with the price of something. How much was that job? Or how much was this job? And how much did you charge? And I don't understand why they need to know that. They're the questions I just don't answer, because it depends, and it depends where you are in the world. Like, Ireland's a very expensive country. So Ireland's one of the most expensive countries to live in Europe. So the parts in Ireland are very, very expensive compared to the UK. So if I say this job cost €100, for example, as soon as I say that, I know I'm just going to get absolutely hammered with comments. Oh, you fucking screwed that person. I got that job and it was only £40. Right? Okay, but the part that I'm buying, in not in all cases, but if you live in Ireland and you buy stuff from England, anyone in the chat will agree with me on this. In most cases, parts are about half the price in the UK to what they are in Ireland. In most cases. Now, that's, roughly. So when I buy parts in Ireland and the job is, say, 200 quid, that job most probably is £100 in the UK. But the parts are cost more expensive here. And then people say, well, why don't you buy them from the UK? Well, the issue with that is, especially the Brexit thing now, is not going to make that practical. But not only that, if I buy a part and it's wrong or it's broken, I have to wait too long for it to come back. Where if I buy the part from the people that I get parts from, I can go back to them. They'll mostly have another part there. Worst case scenario, they'll have to order it for tomorrow. So I'll have the part tomorrow, rather than having to wait a week and a half to get it from England. So you see the issue? That's why I don't tell people the price. And then also people ask me where I am and all that sort of stuff, and I don't say that either. So that's the only questions I won't really answer, because people don't need to know how much the job is. You ring your local mechanic. That's what I say to them. Ring your local mechanic, he'll tell you how much it is. Also, then when they ask where are you, you know, it's like, why do you need to know that? People around the world are asking me where I am. They ask me weird questions. What time do you lock up? How far do you live away from your shed? You know, what tools do you leave in your shed overnight? You know, I hope you have alarms and all this. Like, why do you need to know that? You don't need to know them sort of things. It has nothing to do with the videos. So yeah, they're the only questions I won't answer. I will answer them, but people won't like the answer. I'll answer any question, but you might not like the answer. Now, I'll go back to the chat. We'll give another 15 minutes. So we'll do an hour and a half, and then I'll call it a night. So if there's any questions you want to ask me after that rant, just answer. What made you decide to move to Ireland? Was it a female? No, it wasn't a female. Basically, I was only 11 when we came over here. My parents decided to move, so I kind of said I'll move with them. It's simple as that, really. So basically, oh, here we go. Oh, why is it all gone blue? Ah, stop. So basically, oh, where's that? So basically, I should just fit the new starter motor when it arrives. If the car doesn't start, check for blown fuse. I'd say you've blown a fuse, mate. I'd say you've blown a fuse. But what I would do first is I would get all the white one. Now you've got the start motor off, and get your multimeter. Put onto don't use a continuity setting. Continuity setting and multimeters are an absolute waste of time. People think they're brilliant. If you use a multimeter and continuity setting, it's fucking pointless. You need to use the resistance setting, and it doesn't really want to be any more than 0.2, 0.3 at the most. If it's any more than 0.2, you've got an issue with that wire, and you're going to have voltage drop because of that wire. Fair play. I don't know what that's for. So again, I'm coming across comments now. When I've talked for a few minutes, I've missed loads, and I'm now other people are answering comments, and I'm looking at their comments, answering comments, and I'm getting confused. That daily no small doesn't mix colour. Okay, that's obviously for someone else. That's not what he asked. Again, I'm not sure. Is that related to me, or is that related to someone else? I don't know. So this is the problem with the chat. It's just so delayed. Or is it just me banging on about why I don't do a Q&A? Is that what it is? It's not that. I mean, I have done a Q&A video. I just think it's easier to do it live. That's all I'm saying. I have no issue in doing a Q&A video. I just think it's easier doing it live. That's all. I've just replaced my wishbone on my Kia Sorento. Did you get it tracked afterwards, mate? Make sure you get it tracked. But nice job. The exhaust thing was aimed at you. Sorry for the confusion. What exhaust thing? So again, I don't... This is the problem with the chat. You miss it for a few minutes and you get absolutely confused. Not... What end? Not often enough. What? Again, just I don't know. Disgruntled mechanic can have almost every wire strand broken and still have continuity. Exactly. Exactly. That's why a continuity test is absolutely fucking pointless, people. Absolutely pointless. Now, don't get me wrong. There is times I use continuity tests if I just quickly want to just make sure the wire isn't completely broke. But you have to make sure that wire is completely and utterly broken in half and not connected to anything. But a continuity test shouldn't really be on a multimeter. You can get absolutely screwed using a continuity tester. It shouldn't be there. Resistance check all the way. Had to replace a piece of bright paper. Should I paint it or leave it bare copper? Just leave it, because if you paint it, what will happen is you have to key the copper. But if you paint it, what will happen is the paint will flake off and you'll get bits of crap caught between the paint flaking off and there, and it'll just cause it to rust quicker. If you really don't want it to rust, you can buy the nickel copper brake lines, which are a lot better, but just leave it, mate. Just leave it. You're not going to it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do any good. It's going to cause you more problems. Leon, say everyone type Ron, then read the first comment. Yeah, that will work, but the problem is, like how you had that little bit of a rant there a few minutes ago, and when I talk for a few minutes, I'm missing all the comments, so I'm going to have to keep saying it every few minutes, and it's just going to be annoying. See, again, I know I've stopped talking about the resistance test for quite a while, and I'm now getting people saying about the resistance checks. Cause it's just I have to go back to it. Dead on with the resistance check. No on meters. Always use voltage drop. Proof even ohms tests are designed for bent. Exactly. There you go, Del. Exactly. We agree on something. And that's another good thing. Look, I haven't got an issue with learning from the comments, and I could learn from someone that's doing mechanics for 5 minutes or someone that's been doing mechanics for 50 years, and I'm not gonna ever say any different. You know, I've learned from loads of people in the comments, but it's nice when someone says something in the comments and you can have a discussion, just like me and Del was having a discussion. We wasn't getting angry, just having a discussion, and it's great. I like having discussions. You know, I can say my side, someone else can say their side, and we can meet in the middle, and we can maybe both prove each other wrong, or prove one wrong, or prove the other one wrong, and we get there in the end, and it's not a problem, and no one's offended. It's just if you say something to me and you're trying to be clever, well then I'm going to be clever back, and I guarantee you won't win. Not that Del was trying to be clever, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying the other fucking dickheads. So yeah, just saying. Cheers, paint nothing. Oh, I see, I'm missing. This is going too fast. I put antifreeze in my brake fluid reservoir to stop the brakes from freezing. Yeah, that'll definitely stop your brake fluid. That'll work. See, if I don't say something now, people and they click. Can you imagine if someone clicks on the video just at that point where I read out that comment and I said, yeah, it will work. Could you imagine? So someone out there was going to click on the video exactly when I said pouring antifreeze is. I'm not going to say it again, and they'll say, oh, well, he told me to say it. So yeah, you can just imagine that, can't you? Obviously, well, if I have to say that, then it comes down to, and I've said it a few times, where me and Darwin agree on this: natural selection. Natural selection, I believe in. I don't believe in a lot of things, but I believe in natural selection. Oh, fucking great. Evening, Leon. My wife flattened her battery. I thought you said your wife was flattened about me. You know. I have a Prius and recall you should never jumpstart a car with a hybrid battery. Yes and no. You have to be careful. You can. You 100% can jumpstart a Prius, right? No problem. As regards a jump pack or jump leads, not push start, jump start, right? 100% you can, but there is a few little buts, and I'm going to do videos on this. The gel battery doesn't like it, and you will damage the battery. The Prius batteries always kind of get damaged, and they're fucking expensive. That's the only kind of downside. But yeah, you can. And there is people out there saying you can't. You can. Honestly, you can. Just put a jump pack on it and start it, because all the battery does is energize the battery pack, which then allows it to start. You can do it, but you will damage. If you do it too many times, you will damage. Just 1 second. You will damage the battery, and they are bloody expensive. You might get away with exhaust, and that's obviously someone else. I agree with you all the way, mate. Watch your channel for the spell now. See, I like people like that, Dave, that you can actually talk to, like yourself. You know, I'll say something, you'll say something, and like I said, we'll get there in the end. Yeah, I'm presuming he's talking about the 12-volt battery, because yeah, see, this is again where two people have picked that comment up slightly differently. I just naturally assumed he was talking about the 12-volt battery, where someone, Partners, has actually said, "Are you talking about the 12-volt battery?" You see, that's where the Q&A thing could be a bit thingy, if you know what I mean. Right, I've only got a few minutes left because I need to go. You can tell a real mechanic how they talk about things. Yeah, I mean technically, but when you remove the battery, you can cause other issues depending on how new the vehicle is, because you can lose a lot of its memory. You can jump start. You can put a jump pack on, or even jump leads on a Prius. 100% you can do it. Once I get one, I'll be showing people, you know, the tips and the tricks. What you will do is you will damage the battery. If you do it too many times, you will damage the battery, and they're not cheap. But 100% you can do it. He means, can you jump start a car using it? Oh, see, this is the thing. See, I've obviously taken that. That's 3 people taking that differently. That's yeah. Does he actually mean, can you jump start another car using a Prius? See, I didn't take it that way. See, that's great. You see what I'm saying now about the live Q&A thing? Because I took it that. Did he say his wife flattened the battery? See, I don't know. But anyway, regardless, this is the problem. I took it one way, and Terry's took it another way. So, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's actually, yeah. Can you jumpstart another car using a Prius? I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a video on that because there is a few. Yeah, I'll do a video on that actually because that's a great question. See, and I was wrong. Terry was right. Can I jumpstart? I see. Again, sorry, mate. Completely and utterly took that absolutely wrong. I assumed that the battery in the Prius was flat, because they do go flat because they don't get used like a regular battery does. I'm just going to say no. You there is a way of doing it, but I don't want to say, it's hard to explain. So just no. I'd say no for the minute, because you can cause damage if you don't know what you're doing. So don't do it. But you technically can, but you just have to be careful and do a few things. See? Sorry, mate. Completely and utterly took that absolutely, completely and utterly wrong. See, this is what I'm saying. That was brilliant, because I said that not that long ago, that I could pick up a comment wrong, and I picked up in my head that it was the Prius that was flat. Because the older Priuses, well, the Priuses in general, they need the 12 volts battery. People think because they've got a 300, 400 volt battery underneath that they don't need the 12 volt battery, but they do, because that's what turns all the relays and stuff on. So yeah, again, I just Anyway, we've gone past the hour, so I'm just gonna say, the hour and a half. I'm gonna have to go, and yeah, it looks like I've lost so many or missed so many of the comments, which I do apologise. So yeah, look forward to the videos. Have you seen the jumpers that use when the battery goes flat and store the energy in one hit? You mean the supercapacitors? Is that what you mean? I was going to make a supercapacitor jump start. Don't stop the live stuff, but do a non-live. Take the piss queue. But I can take the piss even doing a live one. There's a lot to be said about doing live videos, because you don't have to edit or anything. It's brilliant. Good night, Leon. Up the dubs. Good night, everyone. See you later. Good night. Igor, hi, cheers. Did you complete strip the rebuild on the... Did you do a complete strip and rebuild on the Cosworth? Which one? Yeah, the supercapacitors. Anyway, look, I'm going to have to go, because yeah, I wasn't planning on being this live for long, and it took me ages to get live, and my phone's going crazy. There is still people that is commenting on the video, not on the live chat, and it's quite funny, because I get some videos I get comments after doing the live chat. Hello, why aren't you talking to me? I'm here. Hello, and it's because they're they're not on the live chat. Anyway, look, everybody, have a fantastic new year. Hope next year is so much better for everybody, and we'll see you later. And like I always say, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Forwards!
Dad, I saw your video on the YouTube. I literally did. I saw it.